In this video, you will find, in my opinion, the best RTX 4070 Ti Super gaming PC build. If you have around $1,500 to spend and you want the best 1440p gaming performance, or you want to play at 4K resolution, high settings, this video is going to be for you. I will show you the estimated performance that you can get with this RTX 4070 Ti Super as well, and on top of that, I will tell you my opinion on this new GPU and whether or not it's actually your best option against the AMD competition. All the links to the components for this PC build will be down below in the video description. With that being said, let's start. For the CPU, we have the Ryzen 7 7700. This one is a great 8-core processor that is very power efficient, so you don't have to spend money in any aftermarket cooler if you want, since the stock cooler is going to be more than enough. However, I did add an extra CPU cooler in the Thermalright Assassin X, since it's only $19 and it's going to maintain the temps down and also more quiet noise levels. And then for the GPU, of course, the RTX 4070 Ti Super. I will talk about my opinion on the 4070 Ti Super and also the estimated performance that you can get in a second, but before doing that, I will explain the rest of the components that are going to be very important not to bottleneck your RTX 4070 Ti Super. For the motherboard, we have a B650M Pro RS Micro ATX motherboard. This one is from the M5 platform, pretty good for gaming, has plenty of features and is cheap at $130 alongside the Silicon Power Value Gaming memory kit. These are 32 gigs of DDR5 memory at 6000 MHz CL30, which means that it's going to be a very nice kit for $85, very fast, and having 32 gigs of RAM is going to make your life easier if you want to do streaming, content creation, productivity work, and also in some titles if you want to do gaming. However, for the most part, 16 gigs of RAM is enough just for gaming. Then for the storage, we have a 1TB Gen 3 SSD for $58, which, by the way, 1TB for some people is enough, for some people it isn't, but this is a component that you can always upgrade down the line for about $50 to $60. So I would recommend getting a 1TB SSD, and then if you need more, upgrading down the line. Then for the case, we have the Montech Air 100 ARGB Micro ATX mid-tower case. This one has 4 pre-installed fans, which is amazing because you don't have to install more fans yourself. Has plenty of airflow with that front mesh panel. In my opinion, it's one of the best looking Micro ATX budget cases in the market, and if you don't like the aesthetic of this one, I will leave an alternative in the description just in case. And last but not least, we have a 750 watt 80 plus volt power supply in the Corsair RM750. This is A-tier rated, meaning that it's going to be the best quality out there, and it definitely meets the wattage requirements since the 7700 is super power efficient and the 4070 Ti Super is not terrible. And now let's talk about the level of performance that you are getting with the 4070 Ti Super. If you want to play at 1440p resolution, which is the resolution I recommend you playing at if you're going to buy this GPU, the 4070 Ti Super got an average of 120 FPS on a 12 game average on high to ultra settings. This is from the latest test from Hardware Unboxed. And then jumping up to 4K resolution, the 4070 Ti Super got an average of almost 70 FPS, which is actually a very solid performance considering this is high to ultra settings at the highest resolution. So there's no doubt, if you want to play at 4K or 1440p, you can play with high settings, no issues, and you can even achieve higher frame rates than 70 FPS at 4K if you turn on the LSS, which is the Nvidia upscaler, and this is a setting that you're going to turn on in-game and it's going to give you higher FPS. Now, the price of the 4070 Ti Super is $800, and there's another GPU in the market from AMD, the RX 7900 XT, which is $750 by the time that I'm recording this video. For a $50 premium with the RTX 4070 Ti Super, you are getting a much better level of ray tracing. In fact, the 4070 Ti Super is about 20% faster in terms of ray tracing performance than the 7900 XT. If that's something that you care about, then you get a better level of productivity and content creation work, even though it depends on the exact application that you use, but for the most part, Nvidia is better in that regard. And also the 4070 Ti Super now has 16 gigs of VRAM, which was the main complaint about the RTX 4070 Ti, which is the last gen Nvidia GPU. So these are some things to consider. The RX 7900 XT is a bit faster than the 4070 Ti Super in terms of rasterized performance, and it's also about $50 cheaper. In my recommendation though, I would get the 4070 Ti Super since you get the Nvidia feature features, especially DLSS, since it's actually a really good upscaler, and it's also a better option than FSR, which is the upscaler from AMD, which usually has a lower image quality. And yes, I know in terms of rasterized performance, the 4070 Ti Super is a bit slower, but you will not really be able to tell the difference when gaming, and also it's only $50 more expensive. However, if the 7900 XT is about $700 when you're watching this video, that makes it more competitive. But at this price point, the 4070 Ti Super, in my opinion, is the better option. If you want to play esports titles, by the way, with this gaming PC with the 4070 Ti Super, you will be able to achieve 240 plus FPS on average at 1440p in games like Fortnite, Valorant, or CS2 low settings. And the total price for this system is $1,580, and now I have recommendations for you if you have more or less money. If you have a lower budget, I would recommend you staying with the stock cooler from AMD, which is free, and not buying the aftermarket $18 CPU cooler, and then downgrading the power supply to the Thermaltake Smart BM3 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply, which is going to get the job done, even though I would highly recommend you going with the Corsair power supply because it's 80 rated, more wattage, and overall a better unit. But if you really want to get closer to the $1,500 mark, if you make these two downgrades, the total price will be $1,520. Another way of saving money is by going with the 7900 XT if you're just going to play with native resolution and you don't really care about the Nvidia features, all you're going to do is gaming and you don't even want to turn on the upscaler, then for $1,530 you can get the same PC as the 4070 Ti Super, the main one with the 750 watt power supply and the aftermarket CPU cooler for $1,530. And then if you have a higher budget on the other side, I would recommend you getting the Ryzen 7 7800X3D for the CPU with a better CPU cooler in the Thermalright Phantom Spirit 120 SE. If you make this upgrade, you will be getting a much better gaming performance when it comes to CPU demanding titles, for example Fortnite on low settings. In that case, you will be able to achieve 360 plus FPS on average even at 1440p resolution, and it's also helpful if you play other high demanding titles such as Flight Simulator, Cities Skylines, and simulators in general. But if you make this upgrade, do not expect to get higher frame rates in high GPU demanding games like Hogwarts Legacy or Cyberpunk 2077 on ultra settings. But if you are into esports, this is an upgrade to consider. The total price for this system, if you make the upgrade, is going to be about $1,650, but I highly recommend you checking the links in the description because you have the latest prices there. But if you want a PC that's already built for you because you don't want to go through the process of building it yourself, then I do recommend you getting a pre-built PC instead. So you will have my video on the best pre-built PCs for every budget and every resolution in the top right of the screen. Highly recommend you watching that one if you really don't want to build a PC yourself. Thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for the support, and let me know in the comment section what do you think about the RTX 4070 Ti Super. See you on the next one.